Stefanos Kasselakis, the new leader of Greece's opposition left-wing party, has his sights set on becoming the country's first openly gay prime minister. With a general election expected next year, it does beg the question, does the sexuality of those representing us in Westminster still matter today? I sat down with Lord Chris Smith, now Master of Pembroke College, Cambridge, to shed light on his experience of being not only the first openly gay MP, but the first to acknowledge he is HIV positive.
Having been first elected to Parliament in 1983, I had thought immediately after that I really need at some point to say who I am and what I am. And the right moment happened the following year, 1984. I stood up and began my speech. And I said, my name's Chris Smith, I'm the Labour MP for Islington South and Finsbury, and I'm gay. During the debates that we had on Section 28, there was this Neanderthal Tory MP called Nicholas Winterton, who was making a speech in support of Section 28. And I stood up to intervene on him, and I made a point. And as I sat down, he looked across at me and he said, "The House has learned to listen to the honourable gentleman," pointing at me, "with respect when he talks about these issues." Because there, sitting in front of him, was one of these people that he was talking about. And he could no longer make windy generalizations about LGBT people because he had to acknowledge that there was one sitting in front of him.
At the height of a bustling political career, Lord Smith was dealing with a very personal struggle, his HIV diagnosis in 1987.
At the time, because I was able to lead a perfectly normal, worthwhile, contributing life, I thought this is nobody else's business. I want to keep this as a private thing for me and my immediate, very close friends. And then Nelson Mandela made a speech. His son had died of AIDS, and at the funeral, Nelson Mandela said, we need to talk about this. We need to stop hiding it. It's only by speaking out about HIV and AIDS that we will begin to combat it and the stigmas that are attached to it. And I just thought, well, perhaps this is the moment to do it. There was a very special moment. I came into my parliamentary office on the Monday morning, and there, sitting on the desk, was a message saying, "Please ring Mr. Mandela," with a telephone number. And so I dialed this telephone number, and there at the other end of the line was Nelson Mandela saying, "I just want to say thank you for what you've said and done. It makes a real difference, and we're all really grateful."
I asked Lord Smith if he thinks the UK as a country is ready for its first openly gay or lesbian Prime Minister.
Well, of course, it's almost certain that we have had gay prime ministers in the past. We haven't had an openly gay prime minister. I think we will at some point. I don't know when it will happen. It's the breaking of moulds does happen. We've had several women prime ministers. We now have a prime minister of colour. It stands to reason that we will, I think, happily now have an openly lesbian or gay Prime Minister. All parties are potentially ready if the right person comes along.